evoke cultural place in the world. Everywhere that has ever existed was all in service of artistry. Now please,
hear what I hear.